We could go back to Henip's deck.
Say G Prime's offering.
Let's load up Henip here. Mom cards again.
Okay.
I just made a snap decision because the last time we saw this deck, Necrophia rolled over them with the Storm Feast, and now we might get a chance to see this in a different matchup. When we get into the middle of the match, tell me when you got that up, Technophy.
It's up.
All right, so looks like we're seeing another Ruby Sapphire deck playing down against his Blood Wild, but he already has a couple of Tunnel Troops down, Mentor Okench on board, but he is staring down one of the most potentially threatening troops on the board in the game, actually. Goremaster, kind of scary. Just the potential to swing in for more damage than you can actually deal with in a turn, all on its own.
Also interesting that there is a different champion here. We have Wyatt going on instead of the Poké out of this Ruby Sapphire. So maybe not playing Gore Feast. Hard to say for sure. But regardless, we see Henip go for the extinction with 2 troops still tunneled. That seems pretty good. Alright, we see Valoisian playing another Ruby Shard here.
Yeah. So it looks... Whoa. Ruby Sapphire passing the turn on 4 resources. That's a little odd. Here comes that minion of Yazakan. Could be countered here if needed.
Yeah, definitely expecting some type of play, because with 6 cards in hand at 4 resources, you probably have options to play something out on your turn if you wanted to.
Looks like that's not going to be what happens. The minion of Yazakan's going to hit the board. Okench Ceremony coming out. Henip picking a troop out of that, and very likely going to deal with that as soon as possible. But first, let's swing in with the minion of Yazakan. Does Valoisian have an answer or a response? Also, Valoisian probably not Gore Feast because he's running Wyatt the Sapper here. Despite being Sapphire Ruby, your champion choice in the typical Gore Feast deck is almost always Poké, just because of the potential 9 damage and the synergy with Cerulean Mirror Knight and or Mentalist. Well, now that's odd.
So yeah, he saved the counter magic. That was his play for this turn, but he just decided that he wanted to go ahead and use it, I guess.
On a Minario Sensei. On a Minario Sensei that looks like it's been countered once before? Oh, that Munario Sensei in particular is a 3/3 Munario Sensei.
Right, it got buffed up.
It got buffed by Benoshi's effect before we got here to the table. Okay, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, just stopping a card draw is one thing, but stopping a 3/3 cantrip style Munario Sensei is kind of a different deal altogether.
Yeah, that seems good.
Now here comes the Charge Hulk. So that Charge Hulk Crackling Vortex play means if Goremaster was still on board, it would have gone from 1 to 2 to 4 to 8 to 16 attack. All this turn before the swing. So that's what I was talking about with potential in threatening troop, with its attack doubling every time you gain a charge.
Absolutely. But unfortunately here we see another removal with Wakizashi coming in and taking out the Charge Hulk as well.
Yeah. So that Wakizashi surfacing it at just the perfect time here.
We're going to likely see swing for 5, yep.
Yeah, no reason not to here. This is probably still game... Well, this might be game 2. But
Yeah,
it's likely still game 1. We haven't seen any other match so far, but we did wait a while before we found out that Aaron Squire's match didn't fire. So, potentially game 2. So Wrathwood Mastermoss hits the board. Important to note that Wrathwood Mastermoss and the Wakizashi both sitting there more than comfortably on the board, I would say.
Yep, still has the champion activation available if Henip wants to use it next turn. And Valoisian still digging here. Plays another Charge Hulk to draw another card. It kind of feels like digging for air almost on some of these.
Yeah.
Like he's drawing a lot of extra cards, but it doesn't feel like a lot of these cards have been high impact on the board here.
Yeah. I mean, not exactly like doing anything, but I feel like the set piece there is Goremaster, right? Like,
right. Yeah, if you had Goremaster, this would be completely different.
what
right.
and maybe a Pulse Reactor does some stuff here too. Hard to tell. This Wakizashi being played right from the hand will get rid of the next Charge Hulk. That's lethal there. No need to do what's about to be done, but in in a world where a 0 resource way to defend existed, that would be the correct play. It's probably just good measure either way.
Yep, and that will be the game there.
That will be the game.
Is that also the match? Okay. Looks like that was the end of game 1.
Yeah. I can't imagine that was... I think that's right.
Yeah, possibly explosive. That definitely seems right.
Yeah, and I mean, that's the power that Goremaster has, right? Like, you just kind of... Thrice, if you read this, please let... Okay, Kalasar, Thrice is looking... Thrice, Kalasar is looking for you. If your opponent no-shows after... Sorry, it has been asked 20 times. I'm sorry we weren't paying attention to the regular chat. If your opponent doesn't show up after 10 minutes, you report the game as a 1-0 in your favor. So you've probably already won.
Right.
Yeah, I realized I technically answered you, but...
Yep.
Yeah, I mean, so whether or not that was game 1 or game 2, this is either game 2 or game 3 coming up, and we know for sure that one match is in Henip's favor, so that's good to know. Henip just answered me. It's 1-0.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
Hopefully, my incredibly poor French was actually getting through.
Hey, it's better than mine, which is non-existent. So you have that.
I wanted to say fair enough after reading Kuges's comment, and I was just like, I don't know what fair enough is. Like, I don't know how you I know the words for enough and fair, but I don't think they mean fair enough in French. You know what I mean?
A little bit different expression over there.
Yeah, like, why did this guy just say fair enough? That seems weird.
Yeah, idioms in other languages are always fun. Trying to understand exactly what it is your opponent's saying. It's pretty surprising how many idioms we use in everyday language. Got a little bit of a delay to start on this one. Maybe it was a confusion over who was supposed to play.
Nah, it just didn't draw. There's a start a game bug.
Just didn't start at all. Okay.
This is white. Well. Well.
Son of a.
I thought it was the same, but it is the same stuff. Throwing them away.
All right, looks like we're still waiting on this game to start. Looks like he's still looking for his opponent here. Maybe he's trying to reconnect. All right, there he is. We'll get this next game started here. All right, so both our players draw their opening hands. It does look like Valdesian. Man, I'm messing that name up. But it looks like he is going to mulligan here once at least. He's going to keep his 6. Looks like Henip is also going to mulligan here. Both of our players will keep on 6. So Valdesian starts out with the Ruby this time, passes the turn. And we'll see Henip draw, and he'll start out with a blood. But no turn 1 play for him as well. Pass it back.
Okay, sorry, I'm back about that.
Yeah, not a problem. We're back on Valdesian's turn here. This time he's playing Crackling Vortex. A little bit of a surprise to see it that early. Might mean he doesn't have any other shards to play right now. But he does pass it back.
Did you get a hold of him?
Henip draws for his turn, and he's got a wild. We've got both thresholds here, blood and wild. We see a tunneling troop. And then pass it back here. All right, this time Valdesian's got the Sapphire, and we see the Mirror Knight. Yeah, Mirror Knight definitely one of the good cards to have in this matchup here. Being able to recoup cards, as long as it sticks around for at least 1 turn, we can get some value. Looks like it is gonna make it because Henip is just gonna tunnel another troop for this turn. Looks like that both players are settling in for a little bit of a protracted game.
Yeah, it seems like the control match here is what's really going on, right? Like it's just, yeah, things like this, like the Stormcloud Mirror Knight, right? Like you would try to prevent that ideally as Henip here, but I mean sometimes you just can't. With all that charge gain in his deck, we get to see if the Stormcloud could be explosive. Also, was that a shard into Stormcloud?
No, he actually missed shard on that turn. He had played a Crackling Vortex a turn before, and he had to play the Sapphire the turn before the Cloud came out. So it actually went Mirror Knight into the Happy Cloud. So here we see Inquisition. There's some spicy meatballs there. I think there's some good arguments for maybe taking Charge Hulk possibly at this point with the Storm Cloud already in play. Yeah, I think from what I've seen, okay, well, it looks like Henip is going to take a Crackling Bolt. He's considering his options here.
Hmm.
Yeah, Crackling Bolt is the best one that his opponent can currently play. So it looks like that's the one he's going to go ahead and take.
Agreed. Man, it's weird to be looking at a board state that involves tunneling troops, where it's very relevant as to what those tunneling troops are and what they're doing. But
Right. But you don't want to say too much about it.
Also, that top deck, Cerulean Mirror Knight, does make the Stormcloud like potentially better, but a shard or some sort of charge gain needs to be here for that. There is possibility of shard into Champion Power into Crackling Vortex for 3 double inspired Stormclouds, except not now because the Wakizashi Ambusher surfaces and uses its charge, well, its enter the play effect to kill off the first of the Mirror Knights. And then a murder will kill off the second. That second Mirror Knight dying will draw a card as it was inspired by the first.
Yeah, Valdesian has taken out the draw engines here. Or I'm sorry, Henip has taken Valdesian's draw engines out. Gets in for 2 just because he can. Valdesian did get to draw 1 extra card off of that.
Mm-hmm. Not the most value you can get out of double Mirror Knight though, with a Stormcloud already on board. Like that just kind of feels. Oh, it feels like you've lost some value there. Especially like Valoisian draws the card this turn, and the Charge Hulk was in hand.
Right.
Like that's. There was a lot of stuff saved here. Now 3 Stormlings, 1 of each. Probably the first time I've ever seen that. I'm not even joking.
It does happen.
Yeah.
It is possible.
Ooh, immediately sacrifices the Biddy Bolt to deal 2 damage to the Wakizashi Ambusher. He might regret that decision. Was probably the most use he was going to get out of that ability, though, if we think about it.
That's true. That's probably one of the better targets from what we've seen. But again, now Henip has shown that Tunnel Troop has 3 counters on it, and it still hasn't come up yet, so you know what's going to happen here. But nothing that Valdesian could have done about it on his turn. We see an Inquisition here, this time with Counter Magic and Time Ripple added to the hand of Cloud and Buccaneer that we'd already seen. Looks like, yeah, Counter Magic does seem like the right card to take here. Make sure that your cards will resolve. We see another tunnel from Henip.
An interesting choice to tunnel there.
Yeah.
Interesting choice to Inquisition into tunnel there. I think probably the correct play.
It's one of those spots where, like, Inquisition definitely has diminishing returns as you go further on in the game, and he probably just wanted to make sure that he got through with something. And I mean, he got a pretty good target with it. He got the Counter Magic out of the opponent's hand, and he still got 2 more cards in hand. So it's possible that he's just got so much gas that he just said, you know what, I'm gonna go ahead and tunnel now. I know I'm not going to be able to. I'm not going to want to play this other card on my next turn, or. So that's probably what's going on here. He just got so much gas, he just wants to keep it going.
Yeah. Now for an interesting revelation of sorts, Monsoon will appear on the board, bringing back the first Wakizashi. Interesting choice here of what to destroy. think I would choose the Storm Cloud. I don't disagree with the Charge Hulk as a as an option either, but the Storm Cloud does get removed here. So now with the Zentoth's Inquisitor, that's also a very good troop for a Benoshi style Wild Ruby.
Strong play here.
Yeah. This will nullify the Charge Hulk, obviously making the decision of the Storm Cloud far more justified. But if he did just draw that Zentoth's Inquisitor, then he didn't know ahead of time that that was the decision to be made, because the Tunneling Troops effects happened pre-draw. Now, this is okay, I guess, a Time Ripple on a Monsoon, but I'm not sure that's ever what you want to be doing. Like, when you talk about removing a Monsoon, Time Ripple has to be pretty far back on that list.
Yeah, it's not a good answer to it, but sometimes it's your best play. It looks like Valoisian. Well, no, see, it's strange because getting rid of the Monsoon there, all it really ends up doing is saving the damage that he would have taken.
Yeah. But it allows for the possibility of the retunneled, like, just shenaniganry.
Right. But it doesn't push through any more damage this turn because all the ground troops are 0 or can attack.
I think there's a very small chance that you're being told you are that wind is passing your microphone every now and then, JJ.
Oh.
Not from the mainstream, but you were being told by, I believe, a French person listening to this stream.
Okay.
Pretty sure what that is. As long as micro means microphone shortened in French as well as it does here.
Okay. Okay, so we see an attack for 2 from the Wakizashi here. And Valoisian says, you know what, that's fine, I'll just take it. And a follow-up extinction.
Well, that actually might be Henip breathing into his mic. No, not yet. I'm sorry, JJ. I didn't realize his stream was unmuted for me. I had just assumed it was you this whole time. I was like, this goddamn JJ. Oh man, there's the Crackling Vortex. Like, a lot of these cards for Valoisian are showing up onto the board like a turn too late. It is giving him a little bit of card draw and card advantage through multiple uses of Wyatt's power, but is that really what he needs here? I don't know. Wakizashi Ambusher hits the board as a 3/2, does not kill or reduce anything's attack power, but I think that's still okay here.
Yeah, I believe Valdesian would have known that that was the case already anyway, because
it's
at the
not
point,
anything, yeah.
Yeah, because it was tunneled, and Monsoon was out, so you know it's not a Monsoon. So it could be he just decided he didn't want to have anything shrunk.
Shut up.
Looks like we have a Vampire King getting played by Henip's side.
Yeah, odd that Vampire King would not be protected in any way, but I suppose I might just be forgetting about the cards that are in Valoisian's hand that we should know about. Was there? I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think we know any of them right now because he's down at 0 and he ended up having the card draw.
Okay.
So I don't think we actually know any of his hand cards currently.
Does he have a way out of this? Does he have like a Zodiac Divination that we have seen or something like that? Like, is there a way to get a bunch of cards back into Valoisian's hand here?
Looks like the answer to that is no. Looks like we're getting the GGs in the chat here.
Yeah, a little odd. Not dead on board, but maybe just no answers to this situation.
Yeah, like Vampire King is. It seems like it'd be pretty good there and pretty tough for him to answer. Yeah, it must be. I mean, if he has nothing better, then I guess you're down to like Buccaneer plus Counter Magic, which is not a great way to do it, but sometimes that's what you have. Yeah, apparently, just decided that was enough.